So a couple of things. One, we're starting with a song that Dolly didn't write. It may be the only one that we do that is not actually written by Dolly. But, here we are. I really like the song. This song actually was Dolly's crossover song. So in the mid-70s, she was already a country star, and she was brought this song for it to be the crossover, right? To cross over to pop. And I don't know if you could hear it in there, but she insisted that there be a steel guitar in this song, because if people who were her country fans complained that this wasn't a country song, she could point to it and say, but it has a steel guitar. And so anyway, that was just kind of the interesting tidbit about that song and how it came to be one that we know of Dolly, right? While I was researching, one thing that I found out about Dolly is that Dolly has tattoos on her arms, and she rarely shows her arms in public, and she's admitted that she has these pastel tattoos. They're not edgy or rebellious or whatever, but for her they are symbols of healing, because she has a lot of scars from surgeries and injuries, and she wanted to turn something painful into something beautiful. And according to her, she said, I thought, well, I'm going to decorate these little scars a little bit. And I think that that's a lot like what grace is, right? We take these broken parts of our lives and we don't ignore them. We don't try to hide them. We transform them into something beautiful. And that's exactly what I think the Father did in this story in Luke. He doesn't erase his son's past. He doesn't say, you know what, you asked for your money, I gave it to you, you went out and you blew it. The Father just reclaims him by putting a robe on him, by giving him a ring, by making a feast, by having a party. Like the grace of God, a holy cover. A holy cover that covers us up and reveals rather than hides our worth. In this week's song, Here You Come Again, just when I began to get myself together, is what the line says. And this week that landed a little different for me. Maybe it's landing a little different for you too, because here we are in a time when this governmental action has yanked billions from Medicaid and SNAP and the vulnerable, from children, from seniors, from rural hospitals. And we're looking at an empty table. Here you come again, just when you think we've got it all together. Just when people were trying to get themselves together, just when maybe we were starting to make it out of, right? We're still reeling a little bit from COVID. We're still trying to get the economy back. We're still trying to do all these things. And then all of a sudden, the safety nets are cut out from under. And yet, here comes God again. Jesus tells this of this son who demanded half of the family fortune. He went and blew it on wild living. He wound up in pig slop. And then hunger sobered him. And he rehearsed his speech. I've sinned. Hire me as a servant. But before he could give the single excuse, before he could even get the words out of his lips to his dad ran up and he wrapped him up in a robe and he put a ring on his finger and he threw a big party. Because grace didn't wait for the resume. Grace just showed up. Grace interrupted in all the messiness. Because that's what grace does. Grace comes in and rewrites the ending. We think we know where this story is going, right? And then grace shows up and flips it all around. And that's the good news for every one of our prodigal son hearts. God's love sprints toward us long before we get to clean it all up. But I think if we stop there, we've shrunken this parable. Because that grace hugs us privately, and it also shoves us out publicly. Out the door to stand beside everybody. It shoves us away from pigeonholes where we sometimes like to put people. The same Father who restores the Son restores the household. The whole community is fed at this party, at this table. And right now, when countless neighbors, when veterans, when those scraping by on SNAP, when we're looking at kids who are living off of free lunches, when those who are immunocompromised, I can say that word, just not if I'm looking at it. Those who rely on Medicaid, those who are being told to tighten the belts of belts they no longer own. Where the fine print says, hired servant is the best you can hope for. The gospel says, you're a child of God, and you deserve a robe and a ring and a feast. You see, grace sees us at a distance and closes in on it. The Father doesn't yell directions from the porch. The Father doesn't see him a long way and say, hey, I see you out there. Come on in. No, the Father runs. He bridges the gap between the two of them. And I would say to you that our calling is exactly the same, to close the gap left by policy. If SNAP is cut, and it seems that it will be, not until after the midterm elections, by the way, but then we need to enlarge our potluck. If clinics close, and it seems that they will, we need to advocate and we need to volunteer. Grace restores dignity. A robe and a ring are not charity, they're identity. So we defend programs that honor human dignity. Healthcare, food, housing, they're not handouts, they're holy birthrights. God throws a big party even though there are skeptics. And the skeptics still get to come. The older brother glared from the field, and yet he was invited to the party. There will be folks who think justice work is being too political, and as a church we shouldn't be political, and as a church we shouldn't be political, but we need to stand up for what's right. We are called to justice. And for those who are standing in the field, glaring, we need to invite them anyway. Because the table is only complete if everybody eats. Dolly's song never resolves the tension in it. She's both thrilled and terrified by this unexpected knock. And I'm here to tell you, friends, it's the same with grace. It disrupts our comfort. It demands that we become disruptors ourselves. Imagine Dolly's chorus rewritten for the church. Here you send us out, just when we'd settled for business as usual. And here we go again, into the streets, into hearings, and into lives that are being overlooked. Here we go again. Today I challenge you. I challenge you to pray with your feet. I challenge you to pray with your dial up some numbers. Get some people on the phone. Name the things that are going on. Name who they will harm. I encourage us to partner locally. The food bank needs our help, maybe now more than ever. Perhaps it's time for us to renew our commitment to Nourish NC. I'd like to see us join with Warm on a project to go to someone's house who has a house, but it needs repairs, it needs things done, and we could go in and sling some hammers, y'all. We could do these things. We can maybe show up more often like we did last week with our unsheltered friends, where we make sure that people who are hungry get to eat, where we are called to protect the feast. We are called to advocate. We're called to give so that no child of God is asked to live on scraps. Budgets, governments, they may label people as expendable, but heaven's ledger never, ever does. When injustice slams the door, grace picks the lock. When cruelty tightens the purse string, grace widens the table. Hear it again. Here you come again. Grace that won't let go. And now is the time for us to run with that grace. Run, interrupt, restore until every prodigal and every policy hears the same verdict. Child, welcome home. Amen.